Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm Sinister Unboxings. Thank you for clicking on the video and welcome to the channel. We got stuff coming from Nintendo, but not technically Nintendo. It's a lot of stuff coming with the Nintendo Switch 2. We're going to be talking about this until the day it releases and is in my hand. But the Switch 2 just had a lot of news coming through. A lot of people found out with certain drafts, patents that Nintendo recently did. But first off, we're going to go through the patents that just happened with the new joysticks that's going to be coming with the Switch 2. And if we take a look at some of these patents, this is one of them right here, and I'll break it down for you guys really quickly. So Nintendo just filed the most incredible patent. If this makes into the Switch 2, we won. Here's a breakdown in plain English of what this patent is. What's the deal? The controller magic. Imagine a controller where a joystick or stick doesn't just move, it feels different depending on what's happening in your game. This isn't an ordinary stick, it's an informative processing system designed to change the game experience dramatically. So this is something that we could possibly maybe even have vibration, more movement, better mobility in games. This is something amazing. You got the controller control section here, variable resistor, and obviously you got this. You got another image right here, which is obviously for the joystick, for the button. When you click on it, this is similar to what we see for keyboards. So this is the Switch version. We read right here about the abstract. This information processing system includes a controller, including an operation element, a resistance member, and a resistance section, including a that is a long I don't know. I'm not gonna butcher that. Basically applied magnetic field intensity, in which serves as a resistance corresponding to the position of the operation element and is displaced. Okay, if we look right here, this is what they're calling it, MRF. It's a special liquid that can change the fluid to almost solid when you zap it with a magnetic field. Think of it like quicksand, but with a superpower. How it works: the controller has a resistance section filled with the MRF. When you move the stick, the system can control how hard or how easy it feels to move based on the game's needs, which again is amazing. And we also have another image right here. There's a new coil system going on, and the first state. So there's different states coming to this new patent, new controller, if it makes to the Switch 2. First state, the stick moves freely within the normal range, no frills, just standard gameplay. Second state, here's where it gets wild. Around the stick's initial position, the fluid is set to lower viscosity, meaning you can move it easily. Outside this, the fluid thickens up, making movement tougher and even stopping you in your tracks. This could simulate anything from walking through mud to hitting an invisible wall in a game. And then any game changes, the game can switch these areas based on what's happening, making it harder to move when your character is injured or in tough terrain. So it's giving you realistic feedback and what you feel in the game, what your character's doing based on movement, based on walls, terrain, mud, water, grass, anything that's like difficult or hard to walk through or easy to walk through in a game. You're gonna feel it, and it's gonna give you a realistic feedback back to you, which is amazing. This is a big improvement from what we had in the Switch, and this is coming all to the Switch 2, which we hope. But this is what Nintendo did as a patent, meaning it could possibly make it to an actual controller, but also companies have made patents for previous designs and has never made it. But this is just a safer way in case they do want to use it and no legal problems happen. But this is really great for us Nintendo fans and waiting for Nintendo Switch 2. But let's see, this is also something that happened with a 3D printed of a rumored Switch 2 design. Gives a closer look at OLED size comparison. So we'll watch the video in a second, but rumors have been going crazy. So last week we supposedly saw Switch 2 accessories pop up on Chinese marketplaces. There was also a video recently for what was it, like a controller for a brand that showed an image of the Switch 2 We don't know if it's the actual Switch 2, but it was all over social media. If I could find that before I end this video, I'll show that off. But if not, I'll let you guys search it up because that might be a massive reveal. But these are all rumors. These aren't real. But so this is based on a YouTube channel called Switch Up. I will leave them in the description down below. Which is a recent video showcasing a new 3D printed mock-up of the console from iVolver in comparison to the design of the Switch OLED. So these are some images right here on how it looks. This is all 3D printed. So let's just take a look at the video and see how this brand new Switch 2 design might look like. Thank you. Gonna have to cut that. Oh. Okay, we're gonna have to cut out that whole thing out, but okay. We were sent a Switch 2 mock-up from a Chinese case manufacturer who claims to have the final Switch 2 design templates, and the case they have made for it. It is essentially a fancy 3D print, but still, let's take a look.
We haven't spoken about the Switch 2 at all. Like, not at all on our channel. It's just not something we do unless we have any kind of factual information. In this case, we don't have factual information per se. We've got a Nintendo Switch 2.
Okay, let's skip ahead.
Let me just show you that. There we go.
So this is the case. This is the case for the Switch 2 apparently. So let's see how it looks.
The real Switch 2, but that they have open it up right off the bat. You can see a lot of similarities to what we're used to. If I get the OLED and just plonk it straight down in the middle, it's dwarfed. I mean, it's a shame about my lighting really, but it is dwarfed by the scale of this thing. This is such a nice improvement in terms of scale as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so it is what we have seen previous. It is going to be a bigger screen, bigger than the OLED, which is amazing. You can see the controllers look a little bit different, a little slanted, and the joysticks looks different. Obviously, this is just all 3D printed. It's not real, but this is basically what we see from rumors, patents, and leaks. But let's take more of a look.
Now we will also have a look at the Steam Deck in comparison to the scale of this. But as you can see, the original Switch OLED is dwarfed by it. Really, it looks small in comparison. If I turn it over, the black on black certainly doesn't help. You might get a better idea. You're looking at about a ½ inch on these two. That's actually really good to know. We'll have a look at the thickness as well, see if it's a thick boy or not. But when we take that out, I mean, that fits perfectly inside this case. Like, absolutely perfectly. Let's just look inside the case before we look more at that. You can see the original cart slot sizes here in thickness at all. If I turn them around so that we've got the same side on each one, if I align the ports though, you can really see that size difference. This is with the console starting at the same point. So you have an inch more on the new model, if it is the new model. You've also got a much larger grate for the fans. That's a lot bigger on the top there. Interesting.
Okay, when it talks about the fans, this is going to be a lot better when it comes to heatsink. Your Switch possibly might not overheat as fast as compared to the original Switch, and you have bigger gaps for the fans to breathe, and possibly more fans or bigger fans, which is really good. And that's going to help anyone who plays the Switch a lot, and it's going to overheat slower, which is massive. That's really good. That's really good. So let's keep looking.
Interestingly, the volume buttons are slightly smaller, but if these are correct, they're a little bit easier to press. You can feel them a little easier on the top there. Again, who knows if this is just, you know, if it's going to look anything like that, but that's an interesting one. It's great to see the headphone jack is in the same spot. So we have a headphone jack right on the top here, exactly where it was before, almost one longer.
Let's
so
see.
On the ground, you were going to play like this. You couldn't actually plug in the power. It was just, that's absolutely fine. There's quite a bit to say about the Joy-Cons. Let's compare to an original set of Joy-Cons in terms of scale and the feeling of them as well. So scale-wise, I'm using clear ones, so hopefully you'll be able to see a bit better. That gives you a reasonably good idea actually of the size difference. You can almost imagine if I put the screen in the center, that's the difference. So Joy-Cons themselves, well, the original ones are very small for my hands. I think anyone that had hands that...
Okay, good. Joysticks are better. I will admit the Joy-Cons are a little too small. I've always fat-fingered into another button. Them being a slightly bigger will help with anyone with especially big hands, so this is good.
Well, like, I don't know, I won't say normal size. They were a little larger, then you really struggle with those. Now, a couple of things that we have problem with those. I mean, still they feel quite small. Actually, I can see why they've gone for this. This is a lot more comfortable right over the top there. And then the way that this works around the back just feels very familiar. Feels very similar to the original model. I wonder if this design is correct. I mean, I guess that this area here could be slightly recessed, maybe on the...
Okay, we don't have to watch everything. These are just design thoughts and thoughts and feelings for games. But this is 3D printed. This is not something that we know is for certain. But this is based on rumors and leaks that we have seen so far. But if this is how the Switch 2 will look like, then this is going to be great. The Switch 2 is basically highly anticipated. Everyone's waiting for it. Everyone's waiting for an announcement. And this is the closest we could get to it right now. And I think this is going to be a great console, a great handheld. I hope it's going to be good. We got to see if it does better or worse than the Switch. And hopefully they learned their lesson when it came from the Wii to the Wii U. But that's basically everything I wanted to go over for the Switch 2 rumors, the design, and the new patents that happened with Nintendo. But thank you guys for clicking the video. I appreciate you guys taking your time out of your day to go over this brand new rumors and patents for the Switch 2. I know the Switch 2 is going to be talked about a lot in the upcoming months. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share with your friend. We're trying to grow. And as always, keep collecting.